Good morning to you today, and welcome to Friday morning, May the 22nd. Our devotion for today is entitled The Joyful Fear of the Lord. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul? Paul says in Ephesians that we should submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. That's what many modern translations say, but literally, Paul says we should do it out of the fear of Christ. The word reverence is too weak to convey what Paul is talking about here, but the word fear is also misleading because to English readers it conveys the idea of fright and dread. What does it mean? When we go to the Old Testament, where the term the fear of the Lord is very common, we come upon some very puzzling usages. Often the fear of the Lord is linked with great joy. Proverbs 28:14 in the King James Version tells us that happy is the man that feareth always. Got to throw in that ETH ending. How can someone who is constantly in fear be filled with happiness? Perhaps most surprising is Psalm 130, verse 4 in the ESV, where the psalmist says, "But with you there is forgiveness, that you may be feared." Forgiveness and grace increase the fear of the Lord. Other passages tell us that we can be instructed and grow in the fear of the Lord. 2 Chronicles 26:5, Psalm 34:11, that it is characterized by praise, wonder, and delight. Psalm 40 verse 3 and Isaiah 11 verse 3. How can that be? One commentator on Psalm 130 puts it like this: servile fear, that is, being scared, would have been diminished, not increased, by forgiveness. The true sense of the fear of the Lord in the Old Testament, then, implies relationship. That is a hard one to understand in our English. Fear is not a word we like. We don't want to be afraid. We want to live with some joy and some happiness. And I think where we're coming at here on this one today is who Jesus is, what he's done for us, what what power he has in many things, the fact that he offers grace to us, that he is willing to forgive us. That's where we begin to want to make sure, not from a servile fear, as he says, but from a desire to want to be known by him, to be loved by him. I think we could take it back to when we were little children and we wanted to make sure we didn't make mom angry or dad angry or and the punishment that might come or those kinds of things that we get concerned about when we're children, being afraid that we're going to be punished, that we're going to have our allowance withheld, that we're going to not be allowed to go out with our friends one day, those kinds of things. It's a fear that's a worry. It's not. It's not a, oh no, woe is me, my life is ending now. It is a desire to want to please the one that loves you. Again, as children, it was our parents. Now, as adults and followers of Christ, it's Him that we want to please. It's Him that we want to make sure we don't do something that displeases him, in which case we may alienate him, we may alienate ourselves from him, and feel after we've done that that he's not with us anymore. That's how I understand this whole concept of the fear of the Lord. It's a way to say, watch your step. The steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. We want to make sure that we know those steps. We want to make sure that the way that we are living and the choices that we are making please Him. Otherwise, we may alienate Him. We may get ourselves in trouble. I remember a time or two when I was a kid, I got myself in trouble by not doing things that would be approved of by my parents. And so those are the kinds of choices. Again, it's not a, biting our fingernails kind of fear. It's not, worrying that, dad's going to take the belt to me or something like that. It's simply about relationship. It's about relationship. It's about wanting to make him happy, to make the choices that will please him, that he will bless and he will honor. And I think it's important we get to know him well enough that we know what he wants. Back in the day, what would Jesus do? I remember how often I heard that, and my very next thought was, you're going to have to know Jesus pretty well to know what he would do. We can't guess. We can't make it up. We can't create him in our image kind of thing. It's about wanting to be like him. Just like we want to be, if growing up in a family as a son, you want to make your dad happy. You want to be like dad. And in this case, we want to be like the Lord. And we want to be careful in how we live, in the choices we make, in the words we choose, in the values that we have. All of those things are what we want to be careful about so that we do please him and we can put a smile on his face. He loves us. He loves us. We don't want to get away from that at all. The joyful fear of the Lord. In other words, the more I want to be like him, the more joy there is in my life. And that's a call for the Christian to live and be like that. Not to be negative, not to be hung up on one thing kind of approach to life, but to want to have everything in our lives reflect Jesus. And in the process of doing that, we make him happy. And we can have peace of mind in that. Blessings to you today on this Friday. And seek to please the Lord today.